And welcome to episode number 37 of The Final Whistle. I am Kyle. Mark is off this week. He had some personal matters come up, so you are stuck with me and my special co-host for the week, Aaron, who's a very good friend of mine. Went to school with him, played hockey with him, grew up with him, and we, best friends. And usually, if he's at, I'm there, or where I'm at, and he's there, pretty much on every other weekend almost. But Aaron, welcome to the show. How the hell are you, my brother?
Glad to be here, brother. It's been a long time coming.
Yes, we are very excited. We're going to deep dive into NHL today. Hopefully some NBA, depending on the time constraints, maybe some other things that went on throughout the weekend. But when this is released, we'll pretty much know the bracket, or almost the bracket, for the NHL playoffs, as we've seen a lot of movement, as there's been a lot to talk about with that, Aaron, as let's go back from throughout the whole NHL season. What's kind of stood out so far as we get to the best time of year, the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Obviously, we got to start with our glorious home team, the Jackets.
They stink.
They are good, and then they stink and shoot themselves in the foot time and time again. I don't know. They just get hot at the wrong times.
Yeah, and
holding the times it's necessary.
Yeah, and they're struggling, as they had to win a game yesterday at the time of this recording. They did not. They lost 3-2 to Boston. But I thought this was very interesting. I love the new coach. I thought he's been doing wonders. They were playing really hot under him when he came in. They were like 5 or like 10-1-1 or whatever they were at that time. And we'll see if I would bring it back at least one more year if they went there out. I thought it was very interesting, because they didn't announce a contract. I mean, they announced he was the coach, but didn't announce the contract details. I thought it was very, very weird. But we'll see if he comes back. It's just, I don't know who you're going to – I get it. He came out of retirement for this, so if he wants to stick around with that. But it'll be very interesting to see. But I like this coach. Now, I don't know, do you go with the Monsters coach? That's the minor league team for the Columbus Blue Jackets, for all you non-hockey fans. But I don't know, Aaron. It's just tough how you deal with this coach going forward. I think you leave him one more year just to see, but take
him for another year.
Take him for another year. They had a lot of injuries, Aaron, but I think you could see the pieces. You could see what he's doing. Do you groom a new coach next year? Let him coach one more year. It's something that I think, from a fan's perspective, you got to maybe roll the dice and see what he can do at least one full year.
He's probably the first coach where I have agreed with every move he's made. Good trades, getting people moved around, different lines set up. I think they need a couple more pieces, because obviously Zach and the first line D is playing 25 minutes, 30 minutes a game, and that's brutal. Could be why we are on a downslope, because that's a lot of ice time each game, in and out.
Yeah, so there's a lot to be desired with that. I mean, they need a couple more goal scorers. I don't think Monahan's it. I don't think Olivier's it. Fantilli, he's been up and down. He's been kind of, I wouldn't say weak, but he's been kind of, I don't know, he hasn't really been putting a puck in it. Sillinger, there's a lot, because you look, and the goaltending too. Like, I love Jet. I think you keep Jet, right? You keep Jet for another year. You go with that. And then
send Alcatraz and never talk to him again.
Elvis,
Terrible.
As they just Elvis, I think you gotta get rid of Elvis. I don't know if it comes a trade, or it comes a trade, or it comes free agency. But I think you need a guy. Now, I don't think any guys in Cleveland already. Maybe that Fedorov is maybe, but he hasn't really been playing well down there. So the goaltending is a big key in order to win championships. Aaron, you know this from watching. You need that goaltending. I think Jet said if you keep letting him develop, give him another full year. If he doesn't, then I think you move on next year, or maybe see what you do.
Savior for us, I think.
Yeah,
free agent.
Yeah,
it's crazy what he's doing for us.
And he willed the Monsters to almost another Calder Cup a couple years ago before bringing him up, because we had Jonas Corposalo, who really didn't do. He was kind of the life savior. Elvis. Now we know, for all you hockey fans that know, they had a goalie that did pass away. That we don't know what his potential could have been if he was still alive, and that maybe he could have been the savior. But obviously, unfortunately, we will never know now. But the goaltending, Aaron, you know this. It's championships. You can't win championships without a goaltender, and I think that starts there. You need two solid goaltenders that you could trust day in and day out to win. championships and games get you into the playoffs.
100%.
So we'll find as the Metro. That's the final playoff spot that's still up. Everybody else has clinched. The Metro is between Philadelphia, Columbus, Washington. The Islanders got eliminated last week. So or on Sunday. So what do you can Philly? Philly's got a couple tough games. They got Montreal and Carolina back to back. Columbus, they got Washington, so that's an elimination game. If Philadelphia were to lose these next two games, Aaron, it's gonna be a fight these last two games. And unfortunately, Philly's inside track. It's just who gets, like you said, who gets hot at the right time.
Exactly. Because we got the Pens that are hot right now, 7-3 the last 10. Kane's already clinched, but I mean, obviously they're still gonna roll for that first seed.
Yeah.
And then I believe, if I'm not wrong, Philly or CBJ will get the Pens. For sure.
Yeah, the 2-3 seed. Yep. Or if Washington somehow sneaks in there, but I think Washington needs a little more help.
That might be a rough first round matchup, but
Yeah.
be a
But
miracle to make it in regardless.
you never know. It'll be a miracle. Columbus kind of shot themselves in the foot. They had the inside track. They got help yesterday. Obviously, couldn't matter. But Philly, on the other hand, they've been riding hot. They were literally maybe like third or second to last in the conference standings, and they got hot at the right time. They're up there. I mean, we're talking to the coach. It's very interesting. What about the Battle of Pennsylvania? That could be very interesting. You got a old elder team in Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh with Crosby, Malkin, Sloves, who pretty much both Sydney and Sloves were on the Olympic team, the respective Olympic teams. But you got Philly, who is young. They got that Zegras. They are very young now. Youth could pretty much, Aaron, they could play a role in the youth, and it's going to be a very interesting matchup. It'll be all about, does the experience come into play, or does the youth come into play? As much as I hate Pittsburgh, we both hate Pittsburgh. I think the experience will come into play at some point, but you just never know with that youth, especially in the first round when all the adrenaline's pumping.
Actually, being the Battle of Pennsylvania, that'd be even more on the story.
Right, in-state rivalry. How about that? And it depends on where things fall. I don't know, man. When you get to the playoffs, it's different. You just never know. You never know what could happen. As we talked about the Canada teams. Edmonton's in it. Ottawa's in it. Toronto didn't make it. Will this be the year McDavid wins? Yeah.
He'll be back in a couple weeks, so they'll be
Yeah.
right back rolling.
Yeah, I know he was on your fantasy team, but let's talk a little bit about as we know the matchups a little bit. We'll know more obviously at the end of this week, probably absolutely by Wednesday, Thursday at the time of recording we will know. But let's talk about this Canada. Canada's on a drought of the Stanley Cup. They're on a drought of the gold medal as USA beat them in February. As Aaron's got the shirt to prove that. And then so what is it going to take for Canada to maybe win, for an Edmonton to win, or an Ottawa? I don't see Ottawa winning. It's probably going to be, if anything, Edmonton's got the right on their back. Losing two straight to Florida the way they did. What do you think the doubt's got to start sitting into McDavid a little bit, Aaron, knowing that he probably cannot, especially losing the gold medal game in that game, because they controlled that game, Canada. It's interesting. Can doubt creep into their mind, especially when they know they lost two straight to the Florida Panthers, who are not even in the playoffs this year?
Plus, Edmonton's been there before, and they can never put a dagger in. They always just blow it. But I don't know. I think McDavid's gonna definitely start getting a bigger edge because obviously he's been there, gets put out for the finals each time, and then obviously when a healthy Draisaitl comes back, it's gonna be huge for them. I know they had problems with goaltending because they traded Sinner away. I forgot who did they get for Sinner?
Got Jari, right? They got Jari. He went from Pittsburgh to Edmonton because that's where Jari lives. Jari's from Canada and Edmonton, so that's gonna help down the stretch and in the playoffs.
Connor just won one year. He definitely deserves it. He's definitely one of the.
Yeah, I think he deserves it, but I would not be. I mean, I think the Canada streak's going to continue. I mean, they should beat Florida. They had Florida on the ropes especially last year. They had them, they just could not. So I don't see that happening. But talk as we played hockey. So I'll talk to Aaron. We played high school together for hockey, but it's a mental game, right? When you lose a game or you just it's a lot of just plus more is adrenaline. But take the viewers in maybe for we're playing hockey, especially we played in a Baron Cup as we talked about that on the show before. It's mental knowing that you got a lot of people watching, a lot of pressure building. It just takes a lot of mental to try to stay focused and try to win what you can, especially in the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, if you go down a goal, 2 goals, 3 goals, you can't really think it's over yet. You got to just think it's 0-0. Keep pushing hard because if you let that get in your head, you're just going to shut down and it's just going to get even worse for you guys. You got to keep fighting for it.
Yeah, and it's been yeah, it's very stressful, but there's none like playoff hockey, right? None like playoff hockey to watch, as you just never know. You can expect the unexpected, and it's fair. Can Canada win it? That's gonna be the big thing. Can they win it? Will be the question there. But hey, the wild card's still up for grabs. How about Utah? Utah's like I believe third season in the league, second or third season in the league, have clinched a playoff spot. That is amazing. Good for them, as they will be playing more than likely. Probably, I believe, be playing the winner of the Pacific, which that has not been decided yet. This will be decided this week, but good for Utah. Utah had to do an expansive draft to get in. They have all these guys, but it shows it could be done, especially if you're a Columbus fan or teams that are like struggling to get in or struggling to win the more point games. Even though there's a big difference for Columbus, but good for Utah, Aaron. They're getting into the playoffs, and
Team.
they're they're playing very well right now, especially when they clinched. And here they are. They have a chance to play, potentially pull the upset over. They avoid Colorado, which is big because Colorado is always the behemoth that could literally wipe you out in 4 games.
President's Trophy right there.
Yup, President's Trophy. As for all you don't know, President's Trophy is if you have the best record in the NHL, you get that awarded that trophy each year. So Colorado did win it. So yeah, talk about Utah a little bit, Aaron. Utah is getting in. They're fresh now. It's one that's like nobody's counting on them to win, so it could kind of help. The pressure's off. They could just go play their game, play hockey the way they're supposed, the way they, what got them into the playoffs. So it's good to just. We're looking forward. It's good to be the underdog. The underdog role. Nobody's expecting much of them to go out, and this is where you just when we say they expect the unexpected, especially to get Edmonton. Oh boy, there's gonna be a lot of pressure on Edmonton to defeat a newly team that's in the league, and that just builds more on Edmonton than it does Utah.
100%.
So
Yeah, I like Utah. I don't think they got as much love or recognition as Vegas did when they came in. But Utah's an extremely young team. They have Clayton Keller. He's a dog.
yeah,
Doing really well. Yeah, they're getting hot. And like you said, the underdog, they can always prevail sometimes. It'd be a crazy story for them.
right. Especially if they would knock off Edmonton, that would be probably the wildest thing that probably would happen. That might send all Edmonton fans into a tizzy. And there might not be a city of Edmonton if they would fall short in an upset. Now that division's still up for grabs, as you got Edmonton, you got Anaheim, you got Seattle still hanging around a little bit. So that's gonna be decided this week coming up. Well, how about the Anaheim Ducks in that division, though, Aaron? The Anaheim Ducks under coach Joe Quenneville. What a huge turnaround that was. They made a run at it. They're cooking, and it's good for them. Who would have thought the Anaheim Mighty Ducks are in a position they haven't clinched yet? They should clinch unless there's a dramatic fall in his last 4 days of the season. But good for the Anaheim Ducks. Joe Quenneville, and you saw Joe Quenneville was the coach of the Blackhawks for a number of years. We won 2 Stanley Cups with them. So when you bring that, and then you bring these young guys in, it's like Utah. Nobody's expecting much, but you got a good coach that knows what he's doing, knows how to game plan, knows the league back and forth. It helps when you got that coach behind the bench that could kind of settle the team down, kind of walk through the team because he's been there before. He knows what he's doing.
Fortunate enough for the Ducks, they have a cold Predators team going up
Yeah,
against. They're on a pretty bad losing streak.
yeah,
Uh, Kings isn't really a walkthrough. I mean, they have Panarin now, I don't think he's done as much as I thought he would. I don't really think the Kings are all that good of a team. They play a lot of boring hockey, a lot of just
Mhm.
shots, defensive, not many goals scored.
Right.
Kopitar also just retired, I'm pretty sure. But I think the Ducks should take it no problem.
Yeah,
The Ducks
and
are a nice young team that are pretty warm right now. I wouldn't say hot, but they're clicking, they're a really good team to play against.
yeah, they're very, very good to play against. As they're gonna be a tough out. They will get the 2 seed in the if they hold on. They could be two. They're probably locked into 2 or 3 games. They can still win the division, but I think they need tiebreakers to go their way in order to win it. But if they win it, hey, if they win a division, it helps them to get home ice at least through the second round of the playoffs. As as Avalanche will get the Western Conference playoff home ice until the Stanley. They may, I think they get the Stanley Cup too if they make it that far. So, but how about let's talk about you mentioned that you mentioned the Kings and Nashville, the 2 teams that are pretty much fighting for the last wild card spot. We had Panarin and in Nashville. Nashville was dead to rights a couple of weeks ago. They're getting hot at the right time. This is what we love: the playoff push and the rush to the playoffs, as they're calling it this year. But the Kings, they're trying to make a push here, and you know it's very interesting how they're going about this. But more importantly, Nashville, who really have Ryan O'Reilly. They have a really young team that they call it Smashvilles. We didn't really know how far they would get this year, as they were special. They were dead to rights too. But as you mentioned, Nashville's they're getting out at the right time. And with good goaltending, you're gonna have that, Aaron, where you could get hot and make a run and find yourself where you are 2 weeks left or 4 days left in the season.
For sure. I've never really
So
been a big Preds fan. You didn't really hear much about them all year, but now
right.
they're fighting for a spot. I
Yeah.
personally don't think they get it. Granted, because
Yeah.
they have good teams they have to beat and other teams that must lose, but
Yeah, I'm looking at the schedule. I'm looking at the schedule here, just trying to go. I mean, Predators got Sharks. That's not going to be easy. The Kings, I think they got Seattle. So this is a moving day for them. As I'm trying to look at the remaining of their schedule for both teams.
yeah,
As
we're 50-50 team. You don't know what side you're going to get.
yeah, the
It's
Kings.
either going to be a monster of
It's,
a team or it's going to be nothing.
yeah, the Kings go back to back. As they play the Canucks, they should beat the Canucks. The Predators have the Ducks on Thursday. So if the Predators are going to get in, they're going to have to earn it. They're going to have to earn it, especially when they play 2 playoff teams that are going to be in. And it's what the West is. It's the wild, wild West right now, especially for a wild card spot. And 1 point separates them. As if you don't know the NHL point system, as as they go by points. So if you get a win, it's 2 points. If you go to overtime, you get 1 point, and then if you obviously lose, you get no points. So you get anywhere from 2 to 3 to 2 points a day, depending on if you win, or 1 to 2 points depending on if you win or go to overtime and lose. So that's 1 point, and that 1 point could be the difference. You never know, especially if one of these games goes to overtime and the one team loses, Aaron. It's just that's why that second point in the playoffs, especially when it comes to a wild card spot, is that more important to you close out an overtime game, especially if you come from behind or if you have to go to overtime from blowing a lead. Those points, as we talked about with Columbus, in our little text chain we got with your brother-in-law, he as it those points come valuable, especially late in the season if you miss it in December, November.
You don't really pay much attention throughout the season until right now, where every point is critical to where you need to
Yeah.
be at. And then
Yeah.
you need this 1 or 2 points, and then you go on a 5-game losing streak and shoot yourself in the foot, CBJ. Um,
Oh
yeah, it's
man.
brutal.
Yeah. So the points, and we won't talk about points. I'm looking at the standings right now. Let's talk about the Atlantic Division. We're just kind of going all around here. Just kind of. How about Buffalo, Montreal, Tampa Bay, all separated by 2 points? Buffalo, Montreal tied for the first in the Atlantic. Tampa Bay is third with 2 points behind. How about Buffalo? The first time in 11 years they have made the playoffs to get it. Made the playoffs. Buffalo's going to be hosting. Who would have thought going into the season, especially now. We talk about Canada teams. Montreal is hanging around, and Tampa's been there. Obviously, we all know about Tampa. But how about Buffalo, Aaron? They got hot. They got in under the right coach, and they're playing for a chance to get home ice at least through the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs.
I think that'd be huge for them, especially getting home ice. That'd be huge going into it. Uh,
Yeah.
Buffalo's kind of been not a joke of the league, but they obviously haven't been pretty good. I'm rooting for them. I like the team. Tage Thompson's really good. Rasmus Dahlin on defense. It's a good roster. I
Yeah.
think if they can stay consistent, they could definitely make a run for it.
Yeah, and they haven't been there, and we talk about that. We talk about that playoff pressure, right? The playoff pressure. Can they sustain it? They do have a coach that's been there before, so it's kind of helped them a little bit. So we're going to see how it goes with them. But you just talk about this, right? And I was watching. Was it the Buffalo? Yeah, I was watching a Buffalo game last week. They brought up a great question, especially when you're a young team. I'll pose this to you. Would you rather start? No, obviously we're not. We didn't play in the league, so we're just going off what we feel, what we would do. But would you want to, for a young team like Buffalo, would you start in the playoffs or not start in the playoffs? Would you start? Would you rather start at home in the playoffs or start on the road in the playoffs, knowing that it's your first time, you want to get those games out of the way, like at least the first one out of the way, get those nerves kind of out of your system, compared to maybe starting at home where you got the fans watching you, your family there. It's kind of an interesting question. I thought they brought up on the broadcast the other day that I think it's a good question to talk about here. Would you rather start at home or would you rather start on the road?
I mean, if it was me, I would definitely want to be on the home territory, having everyone there screaming for you. It definitely gives you another level of confidence and flame
Boost,
area.
boost, yeah.
Yeah.
You mean?
Get you go a little
But
more, maybe fight a little harder.
yeah, to me,
Maybe
yeah, I get what you mean. To me, I think it's kind of a good question to ask. I don't know. I'd probably start on the road, maybe. I mean, they brought up the road. The one Brian Boucher in the broadcast brought up on the road. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, if you start on the road, you get the you get the nerves out of the way. You're not worried about is you're hunkered down like a little bubble when you're on the road. You're in your hotel. You're not really doing things because you're kind of locking in for the game. It's definitely tough when you think about it because you don't know. I mean, you want that home ice advantage, but at the same time, are you okay with knowing that you have the skill to beat any team anytime in a 7 game series? So you would rather go. I don't know. This is tough. I could see on the road, but I think I would want that home ice, especially if you have a chance to be home ice throughout at least throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs, especially if Carolina, who's the number one seed in the East, would get upset. So this is tough for me, but I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna agree with you, Aaron. I think I'm gonna like home ice. I think you get that home ice, you get that fans behind you. Yeah, you have family there, but at the same time, you start on the road or you start at home and you get that feel, you get that adrenaline rush. But I think, as it goes, was your Buffalo, you want that home ice so that you're not traveling as much because you got to travel more if you're away, especially in each round. So it limits travel. But I think you're right, Aaron. You go on the road or you stay at home where you know the fans, you know your surroundings, and you could probably just get on your way there too.
I mean, they're 26 and 10 at home, and they're 23 and 13 away. So I mean, I don't think they really care. But with playoffs in mind, it might make a pretty big difference for them. I think.
Identical records by 3 losses. But yeah, I think wherever you play, you just show up and play because you just never know. It's not, sometimes not like the NBA where you kind of know what's gonna happen, but
Hmm.
it's just very, very interesting. Let's talk about. We'll stay in the East. We'll talk about Carolina. Carolina's been, on a surge as they always are. But actually, you know what? Let's talk about Carolina. Carolina, they're on a surge. They've been in the playoffs the last like number of years, and they just no matter how bad of a season they have or how good of a season they just keep churning and churning.
Find a way.
They find a way to win, Aaron, and it's just props to the coach. They will wear you down. They'll beat the hell out of you, as we saw a couple games. They'll beat you by 4 or 5 goals a night, and that's just good to the leadership they got, the coaches, the goaltending, all everything in between.
It's a pretty good roster. Another team that could definitely fall inconsistent. Like they have Aho, Seth Jarvis,
Yeah.
a couple other good guys on that team. It's when it's not just one guy doing the work, they're a great team. But some
Hmm.
games that I've seen, it's always one guy trying to do it. Like Jarvis will try to go by himself, or Aho. I can't think of their other winger, but they're a great team. I actually like Carolina. It's one of my other favorite teams. Like you said, they always find a way to get in, and they make a little run for it, but they can never get it that far. They
Right.
look pretty damn good this year, I will
And
say.
that and as of right now, if the playoffs did start today, they would face Ottawa in the first round. So that would be a fresh matchup. Good fresh matchup. Now they could be facing Boston too. That could be very interesting if they do get Boston in the first round, as Boston did beat Columbus on this past Sunday. So it'd be very interesting how that matchup goes. As pretty much the matchups are, they're not set yet, but at least you got one. But what about, we'll talk about the one matchup. We'll just keep bouncing around here. The one matchup that is set, Aaron, the Minnesota Wild will be heading to Dallas to open up round one. Two Western heavyweights that are going to get their crack at each other. The 2-3 game is a lot. Is very going to be very exciting. There's a lot of hitting. There's a lot of rivalry in this one, especially when you see each other a lot and being in your division.
I think that'll be a great series to watch, almost like a Stanley Cup final. It'll have a feel like that.
Yeah.
I not a fan of Dallas. They're always in it. I'm kind of ready for them to go in the downfall. Um,
No way.
I do love the Wild. Big fan of the Minnesota Wild. I wish they could get one again. I don't remember the last time they won, but that's
I
another good
don't.
roster. Matt Boldy, Kirill Kaprizov, super good offense. Pretty good on defense. They have one of the Quinn brothers.
Luke. No, not Luke. Not Quinn. Quinn Hughes. They have Quinn Hughes.
Yeah, Hughes
So
brother. Sorry.
yeah, Quinn Hughes, Jack's on the Devils who got the golden goal. But yeah, this is a fascinating matchup. You got two of the, not want to say youngest, but two highly powered, fast teams that could skate.
Oh yeah.
They got a lot of goal scorers on both sides, so it's going to be very interesting how this. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting how this goes. Very interesting. You got good goaltending. You got Ottinger for Dallas, who was on the USA Olympic team. So that's going to be interesting to see. And you got, on the other side, you have an experienced team who's been there before. But can they get over that hump? Minnesota, as you mentioned with Dallas, but it could also be the same with Minnesota. Can they get over that hump to get past the second round? They've gone past the first round. They barely get out of the second round. So we get to the third round. That's a conference final. They really haven't been in a conference final in a while. So plus you got to run into probably the Avalanche or Edmonton or whoever wins that series. So you're kind of in the. I don't know. This is tough. I think leaning ball. I don't know. I would like you. I like Minnesota in this one. I think Minnesota could go winning maybe 6 games. I think 5 or 6 games. Would I be surprised to win 7? Would I be surprised to win 7? No, but I think going in the 7, especially in Dallas, I could see this probably going 6 or 7. I would be surprised if it's anything less than 6. I mean, oh boy, but you love doing that. Jesus, but no, the way the style of play these both teams use, the way they forecheck, the goal scorers they have, this could probably be one of the most entertaining series of them all. As I like Minnesota, Aaron, I know you could pick after this, but I like Minnesota probably 6 or 7.
Hmm. I'm
Let's
gonna
say,
agree with you. I like it. I can see it going Minnesota in 6. Like I said, possibly a 7th game if they can't get one done. But they're both high-powered offense teams. I mean, they both got a good first line.
yeah,
Dallas has Robertson, the other kid. What's his name? I can't think of it right now. But like they both crazy forwards and wings. decent
They
on
have,
defense. Like I
yeah,
said, they both put up goals.
they have both. Minnesota's both the Foligno brothers, so that'd be very interesting to see how. I mean, they've been playing well since Nick Foligno got traded from the Blackhawks to the Wild at the trade deadline. So that's be tough. That's gonna be a fun matchup, I think, especially
Sure.
knowing they know each other from the division 2 and 3 game, the 2 and 3 seed games. So, and we talk about matchups actually real quick, and we'll get back to. I want to send a huge happy birthday to my cousin Sammy, who his birthday is on the day of this release. So, Sammy, happy birthday, my guy, as he's finishing up college and baseball, uh, playing finish up college and college baseball where he's playing. So, and I always enjoy the time we get to spend when either I go to his house or we go to his house, take a family trip, or they come up here. So, Sammy, happy birthday, my guy. Hope you have a great freaking day. All right, so we're going to go back to this. We're going to go back to the NHL. I'll ask you, Aaron, from all the is I know for me when it comes to matchups, I don't mind a repeat matchup once in a like maybe a year or two, but then after that, it's like, oh well, can we get a new matchup? How do you feel about the playoffs? Do you like seeing like the same matchup over and over again? Now I get it in later rounds, it kind of happens, but I'm talking about like first rounds. Do you like seeing like the old matchups, like we get like Vegas and or we get the Kings and Oilers, the four in the last 5 years so far? Then it could happen again, especially if LA hangs on and Oilers win that division. But or no, well, yeah, depends anyways. But do you like the new? Do you like to see new matchups, or do you like? Are you okay like the old matchups that repeat itself every year in the first, especially in the first round?
Uh, if they're like an entertaining matchup and it goes like it's not always the same winner going at it, then I'm
Mm-hmm.
always a fan of it because it's obviously going to be interesting to watch. But if it's like a
Mm-hmm.
blowout matchup, it's obviously you don't really want to see that too many times because you already
Right.
know the outcome
Right.
usually. So
Right.
it's the tossed up matchups that keep coming back. It's I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah, and I like the way I'm kind of the same. I like the matchup, but like there's always history in these matchups, right? Especially if you're if you're like we'll use the Oilers and Kings for example. They battled back and forth the last 4 or 5 years. Edmonton's been knocked out by Canada or by LA the past couple of years, and then Edmonton's kind of. I mean, it's just hard. Now I like because now you're gonna get Ottawa's in there. It's a first matchup. Whoever they play, if they play Carolina or either one of the West or one of the Atlantic teams, so that's gonna be a first matchup. So that's an interesting matchup. I'll be keeping an eye on. But and especially if somehow Columbus, if the Battle of Pennsylvania, I don't mind that because we haven't. I mean, we've seen the regular season, but the Battle of Pennsylvania is going to get ratcheted up a notch. So you're going to have all these teams that are brand new as the Ducks, who are going to be playing either Vegas or Anaheim unless they fall to the wild card. So these are interesting matchups. I'd rather see new matchups, but then again, you go back to the history of the first round matchups that you can't. But I mean, especially when you talk about the Stanley Cup Final, what was the last 2 years? Edmonton and Florida. Those two were in it, and Florida won both. So it's like I like the history in the matchups, but I don't like the. But I get excited for the new matchups because it's fresh blood. It's fresh. I don't say more entertaining, but it's easier to watch. Is that like like oh well here these two teams are again. I mean I get it's the playoffs, but will they do it? But when it comes to that, I think it also helps the ratings, Aaron. As we were talking about sports streaming last week. When you get these ratings, it definitely helps when you can get some fresh matchups. Now again, everybody loves the old school matchups. That's and people complain, oh, this is not because this team's like Ottawa, for instance, Ottawa. Well, they'll probably get more because of Canada. But remember, you got these two channels. You got the Canada channel and Sportsnet, TSN. You got ESPN and TNT down here. So I think it's gonna be very interesting, especially the viewership when we get these new matchups this year. What happens ratings wise?
I actually would really like the newer matchups just because you really don't know what's going to happen. Given playoff hockey, it's a goal could straight change a game regardless of when it happens. It'll
Right.
light a fire in someone or it'll shut down the other team. Like you said, it's a big mental game. So these new matchups, I think it'd be huge for the ratings
Yeah.
because teams that haven't had a chance or just a matchup you've never seen, or just a new story that's going to be written.
Yes. Then you just never know, especially with the ratings. Now let's talk about what was one thing. Let's how I'm gonna put this. What's What? Okay, let's do this. What if you had to pick? Give me one thing. We'll talk. We talk about that. What's one thing you're looking forward to in the playoffs outside of what we talked about already? Maybe something we haven't mentioned yet. If you had to pick, so that people tell people to keep an eye on if they're hockey fans or maybe just casual hockey fans.
I would look out for the potential Colorado early exit.
Okay. Wow. All right. Interesting. Even though they've won the Stanley Cup already, but okay.
Yep.
Why is that?
I just got the feeling they dropped a couple crazy games
Huh.
with a, with a full team at that.
Huh.
It's just they lose these weird in between games. I don't know why, but I can see it happening.
Huh. I like it.
Hmm.
I like it. That you're going out.
And
You're putting your chips in the middle there. I like it.
big
Oh,
cojones, big
big
cojones.
big cojones. Huh. 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 Huh.
We all saw Nathan McKinnon in the Olympics.
Olympics. They choked for Canada, but dude, that is wow. You're throwing it out there. You're
Crazy
upset.
take, I know. Crazy take.
Huh. For me, I don't know. I don't know if I think Colorado at least make it the semi or at least the conference finals, if that. I think. But then again, we talked about Utah. Oh boy, where do I go with this? Probably I'm gonna. Oh boy, you got me stumped here now. I didn't think you were gonna go roll out with that.
Yep.
You gonna roll with that? Probably. I I don't know. It'd be interesting. I I think I'm gonna go with your. I don't, dude. This is you stumped me on this. I'm trying to think of who. Oh, probably.
I would say a
I
first
was
round exit, possibly a second round.
so not so pretty much get upset before the cup finals is what you're saying. Get upset. Not. I don't know. This is. Oh boy, You got me thinking now. You got me. I'm gonna say Buffalo. Do I go? Yeah, you know what? I'm throwing it out there. We're going crazy. Let's get crazy. Buffalo makes it to the conference finals. I'm going with that.
I would love
If
it.
if I'm gonna root for the underdog Buffalo. I think they make it. They'll make at least a run. I think they can beat. I mean, look what they did last week. They could very much make a run in that. So I like Buffalo in that one to cap it up. All right, so give me your Stanley Cup picks, your two teams, and then who wins it and why. We know it's not gonna be Colorado, folks. We know it's not gonna be Colorado. Suspense.
Who would you pick?
Oh, looking at the standings and the teams that are in it. I have it on my have it on my paper. Oh, I don't know. I don't. I mean, Carolina always chokes. This is hard. This is what you never know about the NHL.
I wasn't ready for that one.
See, you're getting it. See, this is what we do. Expect the unexpected on this show. Do. I don't think Edmonton's winning it. I think
You don't think Edmonton?
no. I think the trend continues. I like looking at. I don't know, dude. I don't see Pittsburgh winning it. I think they're too old. The speed from younger teams are going to catch up to them, especially the physicality. I don't know, dude. Probably I'm going to go. I'm going to go, folks. I don't want to do this. Do I go with my Buffalo pick? But I don't know if they'll make it out of the conference finals. If they get there. This is tough. Let's. I don't know, dude.
Carolina versus Minnesota.
That's what
Crazy
you're going
picks.
with? Why
Crazy
not?
picks.
Hey, Carolina. Who wins? Who wins out of those two for the final?
We're gonna give it to Minnesota.
Minnesota. Oh wow, you're on the Minnesota train. You better put them in your parlay each time you place a bet in. You
Let's
better
feature
place
it
a
now.
feature in now, dude. I think I'm gonna. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go Dallas. I think I'm gonna go your opposite pick of Dallas and probably. Oh God, we're gonna be so bad at this that none of our. This is not gonna be. This is gonna age
Yeah,
so
how
poorly.
about we do the final four?
Final four. I mean, but you still gotta pick one. You still gotta pick
I know.
the.
I think finding the
the
four would be a better idea.
All right, who do you got? All right, you got your two teams. Who are the other two teams? Who are your other two? You got one. You got one East, one West so far, and you got the West winning it all. Who do you got facing Carolina? Who do you got? Not Carolina knocking out to get to the Cup final, and for Minnesota. Put you on Johnny on the spot.
Would
The
be
suspense. Suspense.
as of right now they have Pens and the Battle of Philly or Battle
All
of
right.
Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
I just for the hate of Pittsburgh, I would take the Flyers to advance, and
Uh
then
huh.
Carolina shuts that down.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be Tampa or the Buffalo.
No, so if you're going Final Four, so who gets your Final Four out of those besides Carolina? Who does Carolina knock off in a conference final? Let's do it that way. That's one of those other teams. What do you think? Who gets to the conference final and then Carolina beats? The suspense, folks. All right, I'm gonna go while he's thinking. So I go Dallas is gonna get the conference final. I'm probably gonna go. After looking at all these teams, I could see Colorado getting there. I don't Colorado getting there. If they would get there, I like them. And then I think Dallas would beat. I don't know, dude. I think I'm gonna go Dallas in the West, and then I think I'm gonna go. Oh, who do I want to go for the East? I'd probably go. I mean, Carolina was there, so I'll go Carolina, and I'll go. I'll go. How do I want to go? I don't know. I'm gonna go Tampa, Carolina, Tampa. I think the experience, but I think I'm gonna go Tampa, Dallas. I think Tampa, Dallas, and then I think Dallas wins it. For being honest, Dallas wins the cup. So I'm gonna do it.
You're taking Dallas all the way.
I think so, dude. I mean, it's not gonna hit. So I'm just throwing uneducated opinions out there as we always do each week. So it's not going to hit. But I think I'm gonna roll Dallas until they lose to like Minnesota first round. Then I'll be like I told you so, folks. Like I told you so.
I don't know.
This is
Obviously,
good.
the seating isn't set yet, but this is saying Edmonton versus Anaheim.
So you
So
thinking Anaheim
if the Ducks can
or
get past them,
you thinking? So you're going okay.
it
So
just gets me so excited for playoff hockey because you really don't know what happens.
you really don't. You really don't. It's hard to pick. Like they could all
That's
like all the it could all go game sevens. There's none better than a game seven in sports. So you're going Minnesota over Carolina. I'm going Dallas over Tampa to win a Stanley Cup. I think it's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. We're gonna make these picks, and it's just definitely not gonna
I
happen.
know it's
Like,
completely wrong.
it's completely wrong.
How it
So
goes, hockey, bro.
yeah, that's how it is, brother. So that was our NHL talk. We hope you enjoyed the NHL talk. So we're gonna flip over a little bit to the NBA. The NBA starts this week as your beloved Cleveland Cavaliers take on the Toronto Raptors in round one. The Hawks take on the Knicks in round one, and then Detroit and Boston have to wait for the play-in tournament. And then in the West, you got the Timberwolves versus the Nuggets, Rockets and Lakers, and then OKC and the Spurs have to wait their playing game. So we'll wait on. So we won't know their opponents till Friday night. But if you got Tuesday night we'll know one opponent, and Friday night we'll know the other. But so let me ask you this, Aaron. They're contrasted to playoff sports. Do you like the NBA playing tournament? And even though we already got the in-season tournament. Do you like the playing tournament, or do you think NBA's having too many tournaments throughout the season?
I don't really hate the extra tournaments. I mean, obviously, it gets more viewership and whatnot. Could they take one away? Sure, because it gives teams that already had the chance to go another chance. But yeah, that Rockets Lakers series should be pretty damn good
Yeah, it should
for
be good.
fans.
LeBron versus KD. Could it be the last time LeBron and KD square up, especially for Rockets Lakers? And then let's talk about, and for me, this tournament, it's, I think I like to play in more than the cup, and or than the NBA Cup, they call it, because, I mean, that just makes no sense. Like, I get you're playing for money, but maybe maybe make it for home court advantage throughout the finals or something, no matter what your record is. I mean, NBA did that, or not NBA, MLB did that a couple years ago for the All Star game, where they made the winner would be get home field advantage regardless of your record. So that's how Cleveland got there in 2016. But I don't know. Like I think it's just I understand your viewership part. I really do. But I think it's just stupid to have like you already got three tournaments and then you got an All Star. You technically the All Star game's a tournament. So that's four tournaments you have in a season. The All Star game cares about the plays in the All Star game. It's literally backyard. It's literally what we do. Backyard basketball. You just shoot the ball. Like nobody really. I mean, I get you're playing for money, but yeah, like you're literally playing for money. But I get it. But make it meaningful. Okay, a team. Let's just say, for instance, a team that comes out of the plane, like a Philadelphia or Orlando. Maybe let's say they make the finals. They get home court because of their better record. Nah, they probably won't, but you know what I mean. Like they get better. Let's just say two playing teams make the tournament and then make the finals. One of those teams get the home court, or make it East versus West again, And then let's say like we go back to that Philly would say Philly would make it all the way from the play-in. They get the home court because their conference was slated to get home court and do it next year. But maybe that would make the tournament more meaningful. But like you play round robin in the tournament for the NBA Cup, and then you're done. If you don't make it, then you got those are like extra games. Now I get they count towards your regular season record, but it just and then you're playing towards the end, even though when it's a blowout, because you have to play for points, you have to get as much points as you can or margin of victory. So that comes into play. You're risking injury there. But Aaron, with NBA's kind of just I don't know. You too many tournaments, and I think they're doing too much in a short amount of time. If you ask me.
And like you said, there should be more incentives to winning.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you get the cool cup courts, a little tiny trophy if you do win. But like you said, you should get home court or something that's going to help you later.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a
Yeah.
pointless tournament.
Yeah, besides money, what are you playing for? You're just playing for money. Now, get it, like I said, it's for regular season. But now the playing tournament, I like it. I like the playing tournament. I think maybe one of these days NHL could maybe dabble in it and see what they could do there because I think you can make those games, even more meaningful than what I mean. NHL is meaningful, but even maybe a little more meaningful and like maybe spice it up a little bit. I think that would be cool as well to spice it up, especially in NHL. But I mean, you play two extra games if you're in the playing tournament if you win, or depends what slot you're in. But okay, you play two extra games, but you're still. I mean, that could help. You could still be fresh a little bit, knowing that the other team's been sitting around a week plus, just to wait to find out who their opponent is. So it could help, but at the same time, it could hurt. It could hurt you. It could be running out of fumes and running out of gas. But so I mean, I like it. I just there's there needs to be more done instead of just doing it for ratings and money. If you could do this in a way to make it meaningful, I think you'll have more meaningful games. I think you'll have a lot more defense than what you guys had. Now, the NBA is going to be a lot of defense. That's when the things start getting ratcheted up, but it's going to be very interesting how that goes. So we'll talk about our beloved Cavaliers. They got, as we mentioned, they got Toronto coming up Saturday at 1 o'clock. Game one from Rocket Arena in downtown Cleveland. Aaron, what do you think about the Cavs this season? As you know, they went up and down. They acquired James Harden. They've dealt with a lot of injuries, but here they are, the 4 seed in a very, very, very favorable path. If they would beat Toronto, they'd more than likely get Detroit, who they have and can beat to get to the conference finals.
Toronto's definitely a good team. Scotty Barnes, the other two guys. I like Toronto's team, but yeah, James Harden's been huge for us. He's made Jared Allen look like Jared Allen again. It's not all Mobley anymore. Um, yeah, I love this Cavs team. I just wish they'd stay consistent.
I agree. With the injuries, right? You had Mobley out; he was dealing with his calf, and then Allen was out with his finger and a couple other things. Mitchell was out with his eye and in his shoulder. Harden was probably most healthy since he's came over. He's been kind of more consistent ones playing, but and then you had like Max Juice coming off a bad leg injury. He's only been playing for the last month or so. Dean Wade's been
Right.
battling. Yeah, so you got a lot of these teams, but I think it's a good, better matchup for the Cavs than if they would play the Hawks. The Hawks gave them all they could handle last week. in Cleveland when they had to come from as the Hawks almost beat them and came from behind to beat the Cavs. The Cavs are up by almost 20 at one point. So, but I mean, you realistically you have this path. You got Toronto, who you should beat, hopefully in five if that. Hopefully four, get a clean sweep, get some more rest. And then Detroit. You know Detroit with Cade Cunningham. He's coming off a kind of a bad medical thing or a collapsed lung, so he's been dealing with that. How healthy can he be, and how much conditioning is he really going to be in once the playoffs start and they need him? So you pretty much you get Detroit, as Detroit will have to play a playing game, so they should win their first round matchup, and then you probably end up with either the Knicks, Hawks, or Boston, and more likely it'll be Knicks or Boston. I mean, you could beat those guys too, but it's going to be really tough. I think the conference finals. I think this is do or die. I think this is bust because if you don't win, if you don't make it out of the second round, there's gonna be a lot of questions, Aaron, being asked about if this team or coach can do it, especially if you fall short with the path they got this year to get to the conference finals and hopefully the finals. As there'll be a lot more questions, I think, especially in this offseason, especially with the LeBron speculation going around. Can these Cavs do it, Aaron? How do you see that playing out?
I think it'd be huge for us if we could do it. Um, we always struggle with Boston. We know that. The
Mm-hmm.
Knicks is always a good team.
Yeah.
That and Brunson. Definitely some studs on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see it happening. I think if we get rolling, stay hot, watch the injuries, uh,
Gotta stay healthy though. That's the key.
spread the workload to the whole team and not just Donovan or the big guys. I think we have a shot at it.
Gotta stay healthy. That's the key. Stay
That's the important
healthy
part.
because I was telling, excuse me, a couple of my friends, a couple of our other friends throughout the season, like when you're not healthy, this is what happens. And granted, I think now I wouldn't say they were playing to the seeding, but I think they were playing to the seeding at some point, knowing that if they got the three seed, they would probably be playing the Hawks and have to find Boston in round two, which I think they knew if they could get the four seed, they have a better matchup. But now it could come back and bite them too. You just never know. They could Detroit if they get to Detroit, they could very well lose to Detroit. So it's tough. Now in the West, you got an interesting matchup. You got the Rockets and Lakers. As is this, LeBron, the Lakers without Luka. How much is Luka a factor going to play into this against a healthy Rockets team with Kevin Durant and a bunch of other stars? So it's very interesting, Aaron, especially with the Lakers. Can LeBron will the Lakers, especially against the Rockets, without a Luka in that lineup?
Is Reeves still hurt too?
I believe he should be back for Saturday. Play Saturday, so he should be
I thought
back.
he was
Should be
hurt.
back.
I think it would be a great matchup. I think Lakers definitely need Luca because the Rockets are a good team. KD obviously is running the show there.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Luca's going to be a huge question mark for them.
Yeah, if he's not bad, I think it's gonna be tough. I mean, do the Lakers? I mean, they need Luca. They need Luca back badly now. He's out. There's no timetable for him returning. As Reeves was supposed to be out for the rest of the regular season, we don't know both of them. I think if they're both out, I think it's gonna be tough for the Lakers to have to pull this off. I just don't see them making it past. Now, I could see him maybe come back for the second round, but unless we get, you know, some news later this week that they are going to play. I just maybe they win the first one just because of the adrenaline and the play and the push and all that. But it's going to be very interesting how the Lakers come about this. A willed OKC or a Rockets team, and then you got the Timberwolves and Nuggets. It's a very interesting matchup. The Nuggets, they're trying to go back with the Joker, and then you got the T-Wolves, Aaron. They're a very young team with Ant Edwards and you know those guys up there. This is an interesting matchup. Jokic is trying to get back. I mean, they won the title back 2021 or 2020 around there that time frame. But as T-Wolves, they're not young, but they're getting up there. So I think along with the Cavs, T-Wolves got to take that next step if they want to they were in the conference finals, but I think they got to get their next step if they want to pull off some of these upsets and maybe get, especially surprise some people and get to the finals.
Yeah, so during the season already, Denver is 3-1 against them, and obviously Joker was the star of the show.
Yeah.
If he can keep going, I I think I'll take Denver on that one for sure. I
Take
think
Denver, yeah.
they
You got Jokic, you got Jamal Murray, who's shooting lights out, Aaron Gordon, who's shooting lights out over there. And if they get hot, you better look out because this is a very interesting is they can make a run. Now, can defending champs in OKC make a run? Is they gotta wait either Portland, Phoenix, Clippers, or Golden State to get in, excuse me, to the play-on game, to play in tournament. So it's be very interesting to see how they go about this. How OKC can they run it back, knowing that can they run it? I think they should be able to run it back. I don't know if they will win it, but I think they got the talent to do it with SGA and Chet Holmgren at the helm. Same recipe here, and you just got to stick with what's working, and that's will them to get there.
Yeah, obviously OKC's the juggernaut of the league. They've been for a couple of years now. Um, it's just hard to see anyone that can beat that team once again. Big fan of them. They're always good. Uh, I'm pulling up a little bit on them.
And Spurs,
What do you think?
I think they're gonna run. The Spurs are the second seed. I think it could be OKC and Spurs in the conference finals. If Wemby plays the way he's been doing, I like the Spurs. I really do. I like the Spurs over OKC if they could use his size, Wemby's size down low in the paint, and they could get outside shooting. I think the Spurs could get that two seed or make represent the West. I really do. And then I think the Spurs could get back to what they were because they have shown all season long that if Wemby's healthy, he's one of the most dominant bigs in the league, if not the dominant big in the league today. And especially going up against the likes of Joker, of Jokic, and our guys Mobley and Allen, and some of the other bigs. But yeah, that's a team to watch as the Spurs, especially if they should get past their playing opponent, and if they do that, and especially they get a T Wolves Nuggets matchup. They could dominate. You better look out because they could really steal the show and they can run away and make the finals themselves in San Antonio.
Now I'm seeing that San Antonio has beat OKC 4 times this year.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to beat them in the playoffs, though. It's hard. Playoffs are a different animal.
Definitely. I think Wemby is a cheat code. He looks like a different player this year.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what he's going to do. He can pull up a three, rush in. He's an animal. And I think he'd be crucial to get hot, stay healthy. They can make a run for it for sure.
Yeah, and if they stay healthy, and Wemby one of the best. And so that's pretty much the West. As obviously we only have two really opponents or things to dissect with that because we're waiting the playing tournament that happens Friday or starting tomorrow or Tuesday through Friday. So, but then you got the Hawks and Knicks, which is going to be very interesting. The Hawks without Trey Young. Remember they traded Trey Young to Washington at the trade deadline, but the Hawks are feisty, and the Knicks are gonna probably have a lot on their plate. Maybe this guy, I could see this going 5 or 6 game series. Maybe I think maybe dead on six if the Hawks could steal a win or two, or steal a win at least on the road, make the Knicks feel uncomfortable about themselves going into that game. But and you never Mike Brown at the helm for the Knicks, it's going to be very interesting, Aaron. If these scrappy Hawks could give the Knicks a run for their money.
I'm taking Knicks in 5.
Knicks in 5. All right, you don't think Hawks are going to give Knicks much problems, huh?
Nothing really impressed me on Atlanta.
Huh.
I think the Trey Young trade was pretty wild.
I don't know why. I mean, it just time was of the instance, and they just felt like it
I know we
wasn't there.
wanted out of there, but I feel like they didn't really come back from that trade.
Right. Yeah, but I just think they're scrappy, dude. And I think
They are.
if they're scrappy enough, the Hawks, I think this could go 6. I would not be surprised if this did go 6 because then you got a lot. Then you got then you know they can win, and you never know. And you know the cliche they always say: the playoffs never start to the road team. A series never starts. The road team wins a game on the road. So it's gonna be very interesting. Dude, I don't know. I think the Knicks win, but I don't think in five. I could see it going six. Have to end it in Atlanta, but that's be a scrappy one. Now Boston. Boston's very interesting. Tatum coming back from his surgery more earlier than most expected. They're in there, lo and behold, but even without Tatum, they're number two seed. I gotta give credit to where credit's due to their Medulla and the coaching staff and players to get the two seed. Aaron, without one of their best players, and that was kind of one of the storylines all year too. Make the play, they're number two seed, fought off the Knicks and the Cavs for it, and here they are, have a good chance to get home court advantage at least through the Eastern Conference Finals, the first three rounds.
For sure. Yeah, Boston's been super impressive, especially without Tatum for most of the season. And they did just fine without him. They
Yeah,
got
surprising.
Jalen Brown, uh, what's the ball dude,
Derek White,
Derek White. He's
Clam
been
Pritchard, Jalen
crazy.
Brown, yeah.
Peyton Pritchard, that's a good roster. And having Tatum back, it's just going to get better.
Yeah, and it was just wild to me that everyone was like, "How the hell are they in second?" I didn't even know like till like maybe cut like January. I didn't even know they were in second place because the NBA kind of doesn't really start till after Christmas. But for if you know, you know. But it was just very like I just couldn't believe how well they're well coached. Now they got to get over that hump. As remember, they lost to the Pacers in the conference finals last year to end their season. But Pacers aren't in it. Pacers fell. They're one of the worst workers in the league this year because they were without Tyrese Halliburton, who is coming
Yep.
off his injury, so he's going to be probably back for start of next year. But they kind of waved him off, saying, don't come back the way the record was. So, but it's very interesting how Boston does go about this year. Now, if they have to face, they should be okay along with Detroit, but you just never know. So, with that being said, put your non-bias aside with the Cavs, Aaron. Who are you taking in the conference finals to win? If not a Cavs fan, if you pick the Cavs, that's fine. But if you were looking at it through an outside perspective, who are you picking in the finals?
For Eastern Conference?
Do both. Let's do like the main final. Or we can do. Want to do the four again? Want to do the four again? We can do like the final, like the conference finals again if you wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll probably go. Do I do this? Do I want to do this? I think the Cavs get the Cavs, and I think it'll be Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then the West, probably this. I'm gonna go Spurs and OKC. I think that holds chalk, and I think, oh man, do the Cavs get over that hump? Is the question. Do they get over that hump?
Mm-hmm.
Especially against
We didn't
Boston.
talk about Charlotte at all.
No, Charlotte's in the 8-9 or the 10-9 or the 9-10 playing game.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't really think they're gonna get in. I don't think they're doing
It's been
much.
impressing me lately, too.
I'm going. I think the Cavs get over the hump and they face the Spurs. Cavs Spurs, and it's gonna come down to that. It's gonna come down to the battle down low. If we could contain Wembley, I think the Cavs win, especially with our outside shooting.
Mm-hmm.
I was right. I picked Michigan to win it this year, and I wasn't a big fan, but I'm going Cavs. I think they can really do it. This is their year, especially with Harden now. If they don't do it, it's gonna be the question. If not now, then when?
Right.
Now, if they don't win it, they fall short, and it's Boston, and I still think the Spurs, regardless, comes out of the West. I would take the Spurs over Boston. I think. I just think their size. I think we can match our size better with the Spurs than I think Boston can.
I agree with the Spurs OKC. Obviously, those are the top two juggernauts. Denver is a question.
Denver's definitely quite. Yeah, definitely. They're up and down. You never know what kind of team you're gonna get day in and day out. With them.
Detroit's been up there. I don't know. They're also a good team.
Yeah, but
Knicks are
Detroit's beatable though, dude. They got bigger staff who
sure.
were they got their coach.
Yeah, I hate
Nothing,
him.
nothing's really impressed me about Detroit. I think they could. The Cavs can beat them in a 7 game series. I think the Cavs do beat them one way or another.
It's just where the Knicks and Boston lie. I don't know.
I think Boston has the edge. I think Boston will sneak their way to the conference final.
Yeah, fully healthy Boston team's pretty terrifying to go against.
Pretty scary.
I don't know.
Stumped you again. We're stumping Aaron here at his first appearance here on the final whistle.
Obviously, I'd love to see the Cavs bias, unbiased.
I I think this is if not now then when type of scenario for the Cavs, especially
Yeah.
with rumors and all that
What else
rumor.
can you do? I mean,
Right,
there's not much room for movement. We got all the pieces. We just got to put it all together.
right. It's yeah. I'm going Cavs, Spurs, Cavs. If we mobilize Wemby, Cavs will win. If not, it's
So we have
mobilize
who's beating OKC for you then?
Spurs. I think they'd be Spurs and OKC in the Western Conference Final, and Spurs go to the finals. That's just me. Oh,
I'm probably gonna be with you on that one then.
yeah. No repeat for the Thunder in your eyes.
I hope not.
So
There's
you're
a
going
good team,
Spurs
but
and
we'll see someone take them out.
right, right. So you're going Spurs and Cavs. We'll go right. That we're going with.
Hmm.
All right. So Spurs and Cavs. So we're both picking the Cavs. Cavs over Spurs in the finals. Maybe, maybe not. Just
Give me
thinking about
Boston
it.
Spurs.
Boston Spurs. All right. You think the Cavs fall short?
Hmm.
All right. I could see that. I respect that. And I think I do respect that. I think if it's Cavs and Boston, I could see that series. That'll probably be 7 games. Cavs and Boston. You would think.
For sure. We always struggle, and it's super chippy each time.
That is true, and the fandom for both teams don't really go together. So it'll be very interesting to see how that goes. So those are NBA picks. Before we get out of here, let's talk something else that happened. The Masters, a tradition unlike any other. Rory McIlroy, second straight green jacket, Aaron. How about that? Scotty Scheffler was hanging in the weeds, could not capitalize. Justin Rose was there. Henlon was there. There was a lot of people in the weeds, Aaron. But Rory McIlroy steals the show after a bad round on Saturday, comes back on Sunday and delivers one of the best outings of his career to win a second straight green jacket.
All right. Don't get me started on this.
No.
I hate Rory McIlroy. I don't know if I can use these words. Might have to use the bleeps. Lack
Oh
of a
boy.
better word, a prick. Not a fan of him.
Okay.
He should have shot 20 under considering his first 2 days. 12 under is
Yeah.
historical for a second day. I was hoping he would do a classic Rory and choke his way out of it. Um,
Almost. Almost.
I was really happy with Scotty's late day performances. I think he started Sunday 5 under, which is a crazy run for him to even be in the running.
Hmm.
I was I was rooting for Cameron Young. I thought it was going to be a playoff with him and Rory, but couldn't get the job done. I hated seeing Rory get another jacket, but obviously I'm happy for him. He's one of the goats. It just hurt. I was hoping he'd fall out of it.
Yeah. And he had a horrible round on Saturday. Had a 6 point lead going into Saturday, fell short.
Mhm.
Gave that he was up by one. No, he was tied, right? Or he's up by one going into Sunday, and then he
He was
kind of
up
struggled
like
out the game.
11 second day, and then he blew it the third day.
Yeah, so he was out. He was short, and then you had Scotty Scheffler, good old Scotty, just waiting in the wings, and he was playing, but he kind of hurt himself when he couldn't like the holes. What it was like 11 through 14 or something. It was pars or bogeys. So that hurt him because he wasn't really making no. And even Jim Nance said on the broadcast, he's like, he hasn't made not much noise in a while. So and he couldn't. And about the time he did make a birdie, it was too late. Rory had like a 2 stroke lead already, so it was kind of hard to come back. And it was tough on him. Very it was. I mean, good for Rory now. He's probably going to play in the Open in July when they're overseas over there for their turn. So can he do it again? Can he win a Open and kind of make this the year of McIlroy, Aaron? And if he does, hey, hats off to him.
How about the people's pick, Bryson DeChambeau, not making the first cut?
You know he was cooked when he couldn't even get the ball out of the bunker on Thursday.
Triple
That's
bogey
how you know.
absolutely killed him.
That's how you know. Like he had like three straight shots from the bunker, got the third one out. First and second one, he literally like whiffed on him. Like he just didn't even know how the hell that happened. I was like, I'll be honest. I was looking at like, I thought he was gonna make a run at it. I really did. So before Thursday began, like, okay, I think
I
he's
had him
being.
on my DFS lineups.
He had a lot of outside picks. I'm like, I like the way he's going. I'm like, should I put a future on him? But then some told me no. And then I saw his Thursday performance. I'm like, well, good thing I didn't put. And Shane Lowry, he was there yesterday. He was in. He
Lowry
took
1 on Saturday. It's pretty
one on
sweet.
Saturday. Yeah, he was in the wings. But then he fell off midway through his performance yesterday, so he fell out.
Hey, he blew it.
Justin Rose, he was hanging around till like the last two holes. He fell off last two or three holes. So it was obviously and it was kind of McElroy's day when Scheffler did not when he had that Remy that went in and out. That was it was not going to be Scheffler's day when that went out. And then Scheffler had those bad tee shots like the three straight tees, and he just couldn't recover from that.
John Rahm was on the edge the whole time. He had a decent Sunday. He came back up to, I think, +1 overall.
Yeah,
Um, I had Xander to win. I was feeling in the gut Xander
softly,
green jacket, but he
almost.
hung too far back the whole time. I think he finished like 3 under.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Masters is crazy. People you think
How
who's gonna kill it shoot 8 over, and they're not even gonna make it close to Sunday. But
right? Who
speaking of Sunday, you couldn't really ask for a better one. It was neck and neck, anyone's game. Just didn't finish it.
Right? Who would have thought? Beautiful weather. It was close to the end, which it's what the ratings wanted. CBS wanted because if would have been a walk or a runaway, I think wouldn't have been. Those what those
Football
things
is
are.
super fun to watch, especially in golf.
Yeah, and those were. I mean, the smaller tournaments, okay. No, like next week's like the RBC Heritage, like.
Hmm.
I probably like some people. I mean, I'll probably be tuned in, but probably not as much as the Masters because with the playoffs and all that
Oh,
starting.
Masters
But
is huge.
yeah, but then you got like the U.S. Open that's in June. That's on Father's Day weekend. You got the Open overseas in July, the Players Tournament or the Players whatever, and then the Tour Championship. Those are like the big main ones that people really
Players
lock
is
into.
Carolina, right? That's at Quail Hollow in Carolina.
Player, yeah, it's somewhere over there, right? It's like
I think it's
Carolina,
somewhere
one
there.
of the Carolinas. But it'd be very interesting to see what Rory does. I mean, he'll go back to his home turn. He got the Ryder Cup in September, but it'll be very interesting. Can Rory repeat, and maybe win the Open? Who can win the Open and the Masters in the same year? I guess
Yeah,
we're about to find out come July when we are over. I don't know where the Open is at this year, but somewhere over there, one of those over in European countries. So we'll be very excited for that come July. So, well, this was your first show on. How did you feel getting on and being a part of the nonsense we do on this show?
not too bad. Got my notes over here.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, you are the bigger ball knower of us both.
Oh,
I'll try to
what?
hang with you on it.
Definitely not.
Before we
Definitely
end
not.
it, I want to get into a little bit of UFC.
UFC. We can talk some UFC real quick before we wrap it up. What a night as the champion. Well, it's going to be vacant once again, probably very soon, maybe as early as today once we find out the news. But Alberg did defeat Yuri in the first round after Yuri was talking all that garbage to him in that fight and did not back it up. And Albert off one leg, more than likely tore his ACL. We're waiting on confirmation about that, Aaron. That was nuts. Curtis Blades lost to an NFL player. Who would have thought that? That was probably the only biggest
That's the
surprise.
main fight I want to talk about. I watched that one back yesterday.
Yeah.
That is probably top 5, if not top 10, heavyweight fights we've seen in a while. That was a straight bang out of a match. They were
I don't,
both stumbled at least 4 or 5 times throughout the whole
yeah.
fight. don't agree with the decision really. I think the numbers don't match up to the decision made. But that was a hell of a fight. Bloody. You couldn't really ask for a better co-main.
I don't know how we got to the third round. The way those guys were
Seriously.
throwing, they were throwing their hands. They had like you said, blood. They were like then they got tired. Like after the first round, they were exhausted because they used it all.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
they were done.
Hoyke kept flipping off blades. Like, what the hell are you
Yeah.
doing, bro? Like he kept flipping them off every time. Like, bro,
Shorts were white and they ended pink and it was all Bladis' blood.
it was
I don't even
nuts.
think it was even really bleeding.
And he gets a fight on the White House card because Bobby Green. I guess President Trump wanted Bobby Green, so he said, "All right, we'll give you Bobby Green." Now we got Joyce Hoyke. So if he can recover in 2 months, I don't know if he can, but if he does, it could be like a Potan Alex Pereira type of thing. It's gonna be a very generational run if he could be able to do that.
Well, Hokit will get Derek Lewis now, right?
Or Lewis, yeah, Lewis.
Yeah.
Green's next turn. My fault. Green's next turn. Derek Lewis third turn. Right.
I follow with discretion. Put the house on Lewis.
Yeah, probably.
Lewis has way too much power for Hokit's style. Not much defense. I
Just
think if
throwing.
Lewis lands, it's going to be over pretty quick.
I think so. I want to see when the last fight Lewis had. Let me see. It's been a while, right? It's been
Because both of those guys were hands down just throwing bombs at each other.
right. I want to
Lewis,
see.
you can't do that with Derek Lewis.
Um, Lewis's last fight was pulling it up here. Lost to Cortez Acosta in January. So okay, so he's still. I mean, he's going to be more fresher than the other one. It was Hoyke will be. But it's going to be very interesting how that goes. But dude,
Yeah, that fight was nuts. That was a great heavyweight fight. Usually we're used to 10, 20 punches thrown and then just hugging because they're gassed.
yeah, pretty
These guys
much.
were
If
gassed and still just throwing bombs at each other. It was awesome.
if Hoyke wins that fight, he's probably due for a title shot at that point.
Yeah.
Because he's due. He'll get him up to the top five. Because you remember when like those fights were getting canceled and Pereira had to step in all these fights, like was 2024 or whatever. That's how he became my favorite fighter. I never had a favorite fighter in the UFC until Pereira was like literally fighting every other pay per view, and that's why
Right.
he became my favorite fighter. So if Hoyke beats Green off pretty much a month and a half rest, give him a title shot. I'll be the first one to say it. Give him a title
I
shot.
don't think Bobby Green puts up much of a fight. Never really been a fan of him. Isn't it King Green now? He changed his name.
I mean Derek Lewis, not King Green.
Oh yeah, you keep saying Bobby. Yeah, Derek
I
Lewis
keep
I think takes that. No, no problem.
I was looking at the new card, the Strickland card. He's on the Green's on the Strickland card, but yeah, it's just it's I don't know. It's be a very interesting fight. I think the whole White House card's be very interesting with who's on it. I think there's a lot of big favorites, so it's be very interesting who who does get upset. 'Cause there's always that one upset we'd never think of happening, and it does. But even this next card, we'll talk. I know we talk about it in our group text, but the Cosmot and Strickland cards could be a big one. This could be. That's probably. I'm looking for it. And you got Joshua Van on it now too, because he was supposed to be on this past weekend, but he got injured. So there's a lot of good fights coming up. UFC 329 International Fight Week. It's gonna be very interesting. Couple fights coming up, Aaron. I know you're one of our UFC guys that
Hmm.
will watch, and even especially if it's a big fight night, as we saw Izzy a couple weeks ago. So let's be
Yeah, Izzy's got to hang him up. But
hang him up.
yeah, I learned my lesson on Sean Strickland. I forgot who he fought his last fight. He was an underdog, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but he won.
Took it no problem. Yeah,
He won. But Kazmat's a different animal, though. He's very different. He's
very.
he's a dog. If you
And
make one little
they fought before, right? If I'm not
no,
wrong.
I think it's the first fight.
I thought Cosmo beat him already.
Did they? I would. I didn't. Maybe it was. Did they put? I don't. I didn't see him putting number two in there though. Like two. Like it's the second fight.
Or maybe that's. I think Cosmo dropped out of it. Maybe
Maybe that was it. Let me look.
I can't
Because
remember
this would have been the second
100%.
fight. Let
But
me
we definitely
look.
got some good cards coming up.
Um.
Get away
Yeah.
from these fight night cards. Give us some pay per views.
We're Burns this week. No, they never fought. Unless he, like you said, they backed out.
I
So
think Cosmo dropped for something.
I think he was injured, or he couldn't get his green card to get over here, or card to get
Yeah,
over
something
here.
like that.
Because I think that was
But
part of
we
the
have some
reason.
good fights to look forward to.
Yeah, Gilbert Burns coming up this week. He's making his return against Mike Malott, or no, Kyle, not Mike Malott, somebody else, but be very interesting to see how that goes
Yeah,
this
Paulo
week.
Costa kind of impressed me too.
Yeah, who would have thought, huh? Against the Russian Murkazov, who was undefeated and knocked him out on literally a kick. I remember how wobbly Markanov got after that kick. He was trying to stay up, and then he just like fell. So that was, and then you have Alberg, what the knockout to Yuri. Now he's got to give up the title again. Yuri's will he fight for the title again? We'll find out with Dana.
Yuri just pisses me off. Like, if you visibly see someone tear their ACL muscle off the bone, and you're in a cage fight, wouldn't you want to do anything in your power to win that fight?
Yeah, I agree.
Kick the dude in his torn ACL, he's going to fall down.
He was literally pointing. He was pointing like, "Come on, come fight me." Alberg was like, "All right," and then knocked him out. That's how it was.
Like, I don't know. Yuri, he's a ninja, a samurai, whatever the hell he is.
Maybe he needs his ponytail
It's
back.
a life or death kind of fight type of feel. Obviously, you kick someone in the weak spot, and he'd fall and you win.
Right.
It'd be a Yuri hands raised if he was smarter.
Yeah, maybe he needs his
Doesn't
ponytail
make any
back.
sense to me.
I'm surprised he didn't bring but I don't think he had his ponytail last fight either. It's weird without seeing without his weird
He
ass.
doesn't deserve it now. I don't know how you let that one go.
He had him. I don't know. But now that'll be interesting. Does Dana let him fight for the vacant title, or for the interim title, I should say, till Albert
I
comes
think he
back
should.
next year? I don't know who he would fight though. Uncle Liev? Probably Uncle Liev would probably get a shot now. No, against Yuri. Yuri could go 0 for 2 in title fights. I
Oh,
don't.
shit.
I don't know what they do though. That's the thing. I don't know what they do.
I just couldn't believe it. Because the headline is Yuri gets defeated on a one-leg torn ACL.
Yeah, pretty much.
It doesn't make sense. I think he should fall down quite a bit.
Who knows? That's be very interesting.
No,
Who knows? Great, as Aaron said, great cards coming up. Playoffs coming up. It's a great time of year because
playoff hockey.
golf
If you don't
coming
watch
up.
hockey, do it now because this is the best playoff sport to watch, hands down.
Yup,
I'll die in that hill.
me too. Golf coming up. I know Aaron's gonna hit the course here, and we're done here today
Oh yeah.
for a little bit. I'm hopefully gonna get out there soon once we get schedules aligned and all that. So working on that. But so well, folks, don't forget we have our draft preview show next week. Our good friend Dennis is gonna be on. And then don't forget we are live in 2 weeks on right here on YouTube. We're doing a live show, and then we have a very special treat. Very special treat we're doing. We can't wait for you guys to watch. I think it's good. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna change up the show, but it's gonna be a little bit. I think you guys are gonna very enjoy, and we are very excited to bring it to you. The first episode in May. So if you made it this far, stay tuned for that. Well, Aaron, I'll ask you again. How'd you like coming up on the show for your first time?
It's been fun. I hope I lived up to the standard.
Absolutely.
If there is a next time, I will have more preparation done.
You'll be back. Don't worry. You'll be back.
Hope I didn't box too bad. It's
Nope.
been fun.
I can relax. I know you were nervous. Now you can relax. You did it.
Laying
Got
the
the
balls on the table.
Oh Lord. So
Oh,
we gotta get out of here. So I'm Kyle. He's Aaron from Mark. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on the Final Whistle Draft Preview. Goodbye.